Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. There's another paid request, this time for Edward. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos or topics, randomness, out of the blueness, commentaries, reactions, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, this is for South Park Season 7, Episodes 1 and 2. Now, Episode 1, Kenny is back into the fold with the other three, Stan, Kyle, and Cartman. And it starts out with seeming like it's a repeat of the very first episode. They even say there's a bit of deja vu. Kit the baby, which is Ike. With little differences, Cartman gets smacked with Ike. Boom, that little baby Ike smacks Cartman right in the face. And they realize they're in a repeat. Because there's Chef, played by Isaac Hayes. There's the whole alien dream. So it starts like a repeat, but then they figure out there's a bit more going into this, where aliens looked at Earth as a reality show. Which I like that idea. I like the idea of Earth being looked at as a reality show, that the aliens, oh, we put all these species together to see how they would all interact and fight with each other. That sounds like a movie that's been made. Maybe not, but I'm surprised it has been made, if that's the case. And there's some fun bits of humor. There's a bit where Chef and the kids are being chased by the aliens as a car chase. And they go off this ramp and they do the Dukes of Hazzard. And they do the narration like a Dukes of Hazzard episode. I thought that was fun. That was entertaining. Also, when the kids get abducted and the alien wants to come out as a form, and like, oh, that's like that movie Contact. No. And so it's going through all of these different forms, and the kids keep saying no, and ultimately the alien goes, well, what form do you want? How about a taco that farts, has ice cream come out of him? Okay. So it's an interesting design of this walking taco talking to the kids. And, I mean, not all the jokes work. I mean, Kenny being back to the fold. I mean, I don't know. I liked it before where Butters became part of the group. Because Butters became a very fun character. It seems like they stopped a bit with the killing Kenny every episode, which is fine because it got old. Because both of these episodes, Kenny doesn't die. Instead, the finale, the aliens want to cancel the show, so thus they want to cancel Destroy Earth. So on Earth, there's a guy that's pretty much trying to be Jeff Goldblum, along with Chef and others, trying to figure out what to do. And the kids, because these aliens have these big noses and they're doing sex and cocaine, the kids are able to take pictures of it and pretty much, we'll show this if you do something to us. Otherwise, let our show keep going. It's one of those things where there's a bit where they look at Cartman's butt because the salad dish, this big old dish, comes out like the very first episode. But then they want Kyle to stick a finger in Cartman's butt to get the dish out for the wannabe Jeff Goldblum to see it. And this joke just goes on for too long. And that's the point of the joke, is that each time Kyle gets close, Cartman farts. Almost call him Fartman. And this scene pretty much is Fartman. And it just keeps going and going. And even Chef goes, it's not funny anymore. And then it doesn't. Okay, now it's funny. I'm like, no, it's not. I mean, I'm just not a fart joke guy. It's to be the lowest common denominator for a joke. I like Blazing Saddles, but not because of that chilly fart scene. They never did anything for me. To me, it's just, again, below juvenile. And if people like it, that's cool. It's never been my type of gag. It's never been my type of joke. And so that's like one of the big jokes of the episode. I'm like, okay, we done yet? Are we done yet? Okay. Like I said, I have more of a chuckle for the Dukes of Hazzard reference. And the again, interesting designs, like the one make himself look like a taco, or I did the aliens, and they got these big noses and then doing coke and all that. I wouldn't say the episode was that hilarious. I would say there were other episodes in the past that had their premieres much stronger than this. But like I said, this was semi-interesting with, again, trying to be a repeat of the first, at least, episode at the very beginning. Always nice to see Chef as Isaac Hayes. And on a quick note, his departure was very sad, because for what I understand, reading more into it, the South Park guys did an episode on Scientology. They talked with Isaac Hayes because he was with Scientology, and he seemed okay. Like, alright. Then there was this whole thing, oh, he left the show because he was so... No, that wasn't the case. Even his son, years later, came out and said, no, that wasn't the case. He didn't leave the show. He didn't want to leave the show. At that time, he had a stroke. And he was not in his cognitive abilities. His handlers were big Scientologist guys, his agent, other stuff, and they quit for him. Meaning they put out a statement, they put out this and that. That was the time when Isaac Hayes was trying to, after the stroke, get to play the piano again. And even his son said, no, he's not that much of a hypocrite. The South Park's done jokes on gay people, black people, all sorts of any joke was free to be portrayed. He would not quit because of that. So, and it's sad because before that was found out, the South Park guys did this episode where Chef was killed and brutally killed, and I thought that was really a low blow. They should not have killed off the Chef character. I forget which season they do it, because I looked it up. I'm like, why? Oh, he was a molester, and then he died. That was a low blow. Cheap shot. Like, Isaac Hayes has passed away. Let his character live on. Even in background. He doesn't have to say anything. You could say, use maybe old footage, so he says a line or two, so his character lives on. But that was really shitty. And it makes me, once again, remind me as to why I don't like Matt Stone and Trey Parker. They're a bunch of assholes. Again, if you actually delve into it and looked into it, but then the fact you did that was really shitty of you. So, fuck you, Matt and Trey Parker. And Matt Stone, fuck you guys. Again, reminds me why I don't like them in the first place. Same with the next episode I was not a fan of, episode 2. I didn't mind the stuff with Jimmy and Timmy. The South Park kids, the main ones, are not in it that much. And they even say... What's the line they say? I don't keep out of this one. I'm staying out of this one. They keep saying, I'm going to stay out of this one. Because Jimmy is a stand-up. No one is there except Butters. I like that. Butters being so supportive. Christopher Reeve is in town. Christopher Reeve at this point was in a wheelchair. Stem cell research. Jimmy doesn't like that because something to the effect of, oh, you have such self-importance. Well, you know what? There are people that were born this way. And I'm thinking, who cares whether you're... They're both awful. Whether you were born with it or whether you become paralyzed from the neck down. It's horrible in any way, shape, or form. And obviously there's a reason why the other characters say, I'm going to stay out of this one, but then they have Christopher Reeve. He's on the Larry King Show, and he sets fluids out of fetuses, of stem cell, and the more fetuses he sucks out of, the stronger he gets. and then he doesn't have to use a wheelchair, and then he becomes a supervillain, and then Gene Hackman is the good guy. And like, okay, Christopher Reeve is sucking baby fetuses that get stronger. I get it's meant to be as a joke, you're not supposed to take it seriously, but to me I'm like, come on, man. Like, of all, this was just shit taste. Like, come on, dude. I've said before, for the most part, when they're just have some fixation on celebrity, those are the episodes I tend to like the least. I think the one I didn't mind was the fake psychic who preyed on people's well-being. Oh yeah, I talked to your dead loved one when you didn't. I could let that one fly fine. I know it's hypocritical, I know. But it's like, I know Christopher Reeve wasn't the nicest person way back in the day when he was an actor. I understand that. He's not a saint, far from it. But at this point, it's like, come on, dude. I don't think there's any self-importance. It's just, anyone get in that position, let's see how you act. I dare fucking tea if Trey Parker and Matt Stone had that same thing happen to them. Paralyzed from the neck down. Give me a break. I didn't care for the plot. I didn't care for the story. The other bit of the plot is Timmy and Jimmy joining the gang, the Crips. Granted, Timmy and Jimmy think that means something else. That part was kind of humorous. I wish there was just more of their... I mean, when they base it on just their own original stories with their characters within the town or whatever, to me, that's when they're better fit. Other than, you know, what? Okay, you're making fun of Osama bin Laden and Cartman plays off like a Looney Tunes cartoon. That's entertaining. That's understandable. That is enjoyable. This, I thought was more mean-spirited than it had to be. If you find it funny, that's cool. I just didn't find it funny. People say take a joke. Well, in this case, nah. I thought, oh, I was player hating Christopher Butthole Reeves. I thought it was really shallow. Really a shit. Apparently one of my neighbors, one of their roosters feel the same way. This was easily one of my least favorite episodes of the entire show. Easily one of my least favorite episodes. So I hated it. Stuff like this back to the day is why I would say I hate South Park, although I like the movie. And I've seen quite a few episodes. I would say for the most part I do think it is a good show. It's a good cartoon. It's a good show with a lot of wit and well done humor. It goes for broke. It doesn't. It'll pick on everybody. So you just say fair on that. Although it was fair to like Cheech and Chong and a few musical bands. So they were nice to a few. I think they actually let Natasha Henstridge do an episode of the show because they thought she was hot in Species. But for the most, you know, they picked on a lot of people. But it's like, come on, dude. The guy's in a fucking wheelchair. He's paralyzed from the neck down. Just because you saw... I thought it was really shitty, shallow, and stupid. So I did not like the episode. I tried to get into a little bit with the Timmy and Jimmy, because I like the Jimmy character. The idea that they mistake the Crips for a different type of gang. If that was more flourished, and maybe put Butters in there as well, if Butters was the third part of this gang, and and the three of them dealing with the ups and downs of the gang warfare, that should have been just a whole episode. I didn't put Butters in there. Says he was there at the very beginning and one of the only supporters watching Jimmy. That could have been the full 20-minute episode. You'd have a lot to play up. None of it had to do with Christopher Reeve. If it was if it was like one scene where he watched Christopher Reeve on TV, okay, poor taste, but it's one scene. Move along, and then he and Jimmy, Timmy, and maybe Butters. I think there's just more you could have done with that. Dull, Christopher Reeve. I mean, I get it. It's so ridiculous and stupid. I know you're not supposed to take it so seriously. To suck up baby fetuses, and then he gets stronger, and then he becomes the evil supervillain, which is counter with his Superman portrayal back in the day. And then that Gene Hackman was Lex Luthor, but he's the good guy. And even at the very end, they put Christopher Reeve in the same prison as the villains that they broke out of at the beginning of Superman 2. And they were put in the beginning of Superman 1. I get it. You're not supposed to take it that seriously. Not yelling, not screaming. It just... Not really an episode I found that funny or found that entertaining. Episode 1, I would say this, the start of Season 7 is a step down from Season 6. Which, with no Kenny in there and more Butters and other stuff, I thought was actually a step up for a season. The first episode was there, alright. Second, I didn't care for. I thought, okay, this is a rough start to Season 7. And for the first 2 episodes, so far, it's probably the weakest of each of the seasons I've seen so far. Maybe it gets better, I don't know, but I'm like, not really it for me. So, if it is too, teach their own. Thanks for watching, take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.